need to patch that up. And look at all these little random pieces. It doesn't matter because it's just support. So just take any of these little random pieces and make them fit in there. So here's another little random one. But notice I'm also putting
Oh boy.
mind with the sternum in mind. I don't know if you knew that. Strange but true. Somebody thought, you know, that sternum is kind of neat. Let's make an external sternum and call it a gentleman's tie. Check this out. This is the knot part of the necktie.
Well, it's so interesting because my sternum, it looks very skinny. So,
That little rib is bothering me.
yeah.
Just like it just does not want to behave.
Yeah. My sternum, it looks so long.
That should just stay there.
And in the books, it doesn't look this long. It looks more thick. And also the rib cage, it doesn't look as elongated. It looks more compact. So I guess I have to rework that. Weird.
This 12th rib got a little knocked around a little bit. Yeah, I don't mind telling you that because the same thing might be happening to you, and just fix it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just look over the ribs.
Let's
one more
fix
time.
it.
If
Fix
one of them
it.
is a little too far apart from the other, just move
Mhm.
the whole rib and wire a little closer, etc. I'm looking over here to see what I can change and make it a little bit nicer. Take a rounded stick. This is just something you do afterwards, and just go in between each of the ribs just a little bit, like that. Now I'm going to want to make what it's going to look like a little necktie, but in fact it will be the sternum, right down here to the end here. Got it? So I have that little extra piece over here, so I'm going to start with that and just use this to help me out. The sternum
I just got an
looks like a
idea.
necktie because the necktie was designed
Yeah, it is so fun. That's good. Nice. Let me text to my friends. Okay. So here I am trying to fix the manubrium in the sternum because mine looks way too skinny. And in every picture is a very, it's more of a compact type of thing. So yeah, I feel like it should be wider. But when I touch myself, it's like, well, it doesn't feel that big. It feels kind of skinny. At least in my case, it doesn't feel enormous. So I'm surprised that it is as thick. Let me portray. Okay. So I think the main issue here is that I need to kind of like make it more primitive. Mine looks like an actual tie, and that's not the idea. So today live streaming is gonna be short, only an hour, because I want to pick up my kids at the bus stop, and then I probably will be working on some digital projects, especially because I have put myself up to date, up to speed with the other girl that I'm working with on this project. So I already caught up with her. Yeah. It's very interesting how every book depicts the sternum slightly differently. Very interesting that everybody has their own way of giving it proportions. Okay, I'm gonna make something that is mainly a cosmetic decision. So it's kind of hard to see. Let me move the camera up. So the issue here is this part, the manubrium of the sternum. And I want it to look kind of close to a thing, but the positioning of the ribs are throwing me off in terms of where that separation line should be. So I'm gonna change my way and move it down, and maybe add a little bit up here. But that's the plan. Whoa, that's loud. I need to talk to. That's kind of loud. Yeah, theoretically, that's not how it should look like, but I'm gonna fake it because if not, oh good lord, I will have to redo many things. I don't want to. So I'm gonna continue working on this piece here. I need to make it long enough that it will go all the way inside and inside the lower part of the hip, and this is kind of far, like a sustenance for this section here. So I need to stretch this piece of very harsh dry clay for sure. I know people don't like the fact that they cannot see my face when I have the wire in front of me, but that's okay. I can move it around. I don't have to keep it in one position. By the way, guys, I feel so excited with my entire... Oh no, yeah. Give me a second. Hello? Hello? Didn't last long. They're gonna probably leave a message. So yeah, I'm gonna stretch it, but I feel so excited about this part of this half of my crochet because I did every vertebrae. I measured it, so I'm proud of myself. I know that Mr. Ray said, don't do that. You're gonna go crazy counting it and we don't want to waste time. But I was like, Mr. Ray, you know me. You know that I'm gonna do this, right? It's like, I have to do this. It's a personal challenge. I'm not saying that it's not like every vertebrae is perfect, you know. It's not like it's exactly like in the illustrations because each one is gonna have a specific shape based on the position on the neck and what its job is. But just by the fact that I did the 7 neck vertebrae and the 12 thoracic ones and the 5 lumbar ones, I feel very proud of myself. I'm excited. Yeah, very excited about this. And if nobody shows up, I'm gonna keep the recording of this live streaming as a proof that I'm doing it. So I'm gonna talk like a crazy person. And if you're interested enough, you can listen to my rambling. And I'm just gonna share my life with you, a perfect stranger. Because I feel that there's a lot in common between people more than we think. First of all, there is no so much real toxicity out there. Like there's not many people that are really monsters. It's just bots trying to bother people. And I know somebody created them and put them out there, but that's probably a prankster, somebody that just enjoys looking at people's reactions. So I don't take it too personally when it comes to thinking that the world is full of bad agents. Maybe selfish agents, but not definitely people that are like 100% evil. But yeah, definitely selfish. They're definitely looking for themselves and not caring about how they screw over other people. Yeah, but that's a level of consciousness, right? And we need to rise up the level of consciousness of the planet. So you might be asking, why are we talking about this? Because I'm gonna share stuff with you, perfect stranger, about my plans and about the things that I'm celebrating in my life. And hopefully that is gonna inspire you to do the same. To celebrate the good stuff and fix the things that don't work. And it's not easy. You need a lot of people helping you and joining a good amount of groups that are doing the work and then have some experience and they can guide you so you don't have to suffer all the way along. And this brings me back to New Masters Academy. So what I'm doing here is the male human figure crochet that Ray Bustos put together as a way for students to learn. And this is not something that never happened before in Academy. It has been like a thing that has been done again and again, but Ray Bustos, he put together a really nice way to do it. And I'm following that class inside of New Masters Academy. It's a platform where if you're interested in art or you want to get some type of profound classical art education, it's a perfect place to go. It's not as expensive as to go into an actual physical school. It's a great deal. And you're gonna learn practically the same. And it can be all be done online, and they have live sessions with students, and they have coaches and teachers. So it's a great way to learn this stuff and to work on your projects without having to give your firstborn child away, like in the Witcher series. So yeah, I highly recommend you to do that. I went to an art academy in Cuba when I was 15 years old, and sadly we weren't really emphasized into a lot of the classical stuff that was the main reason why I wanted to study in art academy, and the focus were more about general art history. And in that education there was a lot of this new stuff of, you know, the more contemporary type of art, and the problem with that is that you fall into this franchise thing where people are just creating stuff for the sake of creating stuff because they need, you know, to move themselves in the market. But I don't feel that their art is any meaningful, to be honest, at least not for me. It's not something that I would hang out in a wall. And they might say, well, my art is not that's too traditional, or, you know, ancient primitive way of looking at art, and they're more about the performance and whatever. And then you have the scams, you know, the bananas on the wall stuff. That's always been part of our history, humanity. And so for me, it was very disappointed. I was very disappointed in my 4 years of class in that academy because they really didn't put much attention to this stuff. And it was pretty much go and find your answers by yourself. They didn't really correct much. They didn't really had the eye to tell you, hey, your anatomy is off, your perspective off, or your composition is off. The teachers didn't have that incentive, I guess. So for me, it was disappointing. And like me, a bunch of students, and some of them continue in art, and they evolve into some other things. But I always felt stuck in that sense. And I'm not a reader. I don't read books. It's very hard for me to learn just looking at a book. A book is a great source of inspiration, but not reading is not my modality. I don't like reading. So I didn't know that this existed until a friend of mine from Italy. She told me, oh, there's New Masters Academy, and you know, you can sign up and all this stuff. So I signed up, and I was mind blown because all that education that I wanted to have when I was a teenager was accessible to me in an online platform. And you can even get coaches to work with you one-on-one if that's your modality, which is my modality too. But if you want to work on a group and have that accountability with other peers, you can connect through their Discord server once you sign up for New Masters Academy. So it's great. I did one of their workshops. I really love the format of the workshops. I don't know if they're bringing them back, but to me the workshop was just magnificent. The price was very affordable, and you work on something, I think it's like 3-4 months. I don't remember exactly. I think it's 3 months. Yeah, like 9 weeks. Yeah, 9 weeks. So it's 3 months, more or less. And that format was amazing because you get to pick, you know, the area that you have an interest in, and then you sign up for the class. I think I paid $350 or maybe less, I don't recall. But you get one-on-one sessions each week with homework, and you have, you know, some people monitoring the students' work and telling us how to submit it. So it was amazing, really worth it. I get to meet this wonderful teacher, Ray Bustos, live. So that was amazing. The best experience of, I mean, I had plenty of beautiful experience on 2025. Don't get me wrong. But one of the most beautiful ones was that this teacher instilling me that passion for anatomy again, because I have lost all my artistic passions. And then just being around him, he shares his passion for it, and he's so excited about it. He's like a little kid talking about all the things, and, you know, throwing at you little tips and little facts here and there. So it was amazing, really high energy. I am so grateful and appreciative to New Masters Academy and my teacher Ray Bustos, definitely, because they did an amazing job with that Imaginatomy workshop. I cannot wait to see if they're gonna bring part two. I'm ready for it because the teacher said you need to do these two classes as requirements for Imaginatomy, but to build it three-dimensional with clay. And I said, I'm on it. I'm gonna be working on that stuff. I'm gonna do those classes. And when you guys are ready to bring the next level, I'm gonna be the first one there. Just know that I'm already signed up for it. And there were other students that wanted to do the same. One of them, she is hanging out with me every Thursday, working on the crochet. And we hold each other accountable. Like if it was by our schedules and all these distractions of things that we want to do, we would fall in the trap of not finishing this. But because we are meeting each week, it's like, okay, if she progress, I need to progress, and if I progress, she needs to catch up. And we just hang out and we talk stuff while we work on this. And sometimes we watch together the class. Sometimes we already had watched the class and it's a matter of spending the time doing it correctly. But it has been an amazing thing to have, just to hang out with like-minded people and talk about the things we care, and always giving value, because I am pursuing and researching things and finding answers that I can pass along to this person that can be useful for her. And the same, I will be like, I don't know about this, and she has an answer for it. So having a community, having a stable little club of your own is super helpful. It's what they call in the growth development industry a mastermind, right? It's like a group of people bringing all these minds together to find solutions. I love it. On the other hand, I have friends that they do filmmaking, and they give me advice on get this, get that, and they just encourage me to keep progressing. Because if not, when things don't work out, you kind of put them on the side and you don't look at them ever again. But because I have these friends and I made these promises, I'm like, oh, I need to show up for this. I need to answer. Then I have my other community, the wood burning community, that is spectacular. They have a Discord server and you can become a member. They have a membership that is for free, and they have one that is a paid tier. It's not too expensive, but there is so much value that is worth it, especially if you're going to be doing wood burning and you want to be, you want to turn it into a business. Join the Wood Burn Corner community, Discord server, newsletter, everything. Just join it, because there's so much wealth of information. You have people put in the work, put in the hours, and you're gonna get so much out of it. So that community is my therapy group, because we meet every week on different times, so everybody can participate. And that community is so healthy, such a healthy community, and we support each other. And I can tell you that if I were by myself, I would be sad and depressed, and I would have all this negative commentary in my head. But because we are together, it brings the best out of us. When we have to be with other people, we become the person that we would love to be all the time, but we become that for other people. So in that community, everybody shows up with their best. It's like, it's healing. And I have many things to say about that scientifically, but I'm not gonna waste your time with that. And then I have, my Kung Fu peers. We study together twice. We have twice study encounters where we just practice. I have my class and I hang out with the people, but of course we're so focused on the content that we don't really have much time for friendships and hanging out together. But we meet on Saturdays and Sundays to work on our forms and our animal techniques, and we're gonna have an extra class. By the way, if you're interested in Kung Fu and you live close by Rolesville, look for American School of Martial Arts Kung Fu Tai Chi Chuan. That's the Kung Fu school in Wake Forest, and it's the best value that you're gonna find all around, because this is like a grandmaster teaching you for pennies compared to who other people would charge you. So look for that because it's really high level what you learn there, and it's very applicable. It's self-defense, you know. Another thing that I love doing is this year, actually last year I started, because my Kung Fu teacher referred me, doing guided Qigong sessions for the elderly in one retirement center in Wake Forest. And that has been also amazing for me, because if I'm left by myself, I don't practice my Qigong, even though I'm naturally good at it with the energy. But it's just the laziness of I'm at home, for whom I'm doing this. But because I have to show up to my seniors, I get to practice my Qigong, and I get to be more curious about what things I don't know that they need, so I can teach them. And that makes me stay connected to my Qigong practice, but also that practice heals me too. So it's a win-win. I get paid for getting healing sessions myself, and also I just love their energy. I love their energy. I love hanging out with them and making a little show and entertainment of the crazy young lady that comes here talking crazy stuff. I love it. And it's just that the light comes when you have to show up for other people. And that's what I really appreciate of my life right now. So the reason I'm doing this live streaming is because I want to connect with the locals, people from Rolesville. This is where I live. And I really want to meet people. If they have any interest about art and they want to just see what an art studio could be about, then I want my doors open for people to just hang out and ask questions and even put requests. If they want some special art, we can talk about it and be like, okay, I'm going to do it for you. But most importantly for me is the accountability. That if I have to show up every day to my art studio because I'm doing live streaming, is going to happen. And eventually I want this to be also a time for me to hang out with strangers, hang out with friends, hang out with family members. That's what I want to do. I love meeting new people. I know that Rolesville is full of amazing people, but because everybody's busy, you never get to talk and have a meaningful conversation with no one anymore. And I feel like a lot of people are just drained and burned out and depressed because people don't spend meaningful time anymore. They don't allocate space in their daily lives to chill, connect, and have a real conversation with somebody where you just extend your soul. You're like, this is my soul, and your soul and my soul meet in one spot, and we're like actually connected. People don't allocate that because it's not hustle culture, it's not financially driven. It's just being seen as a waste of time and procrastination and not paying attention to your goals. And I'm like, what is the point of a goal if you don't share with people? For me, working on my projects is more about the sharing of the project than actually doing it. Doing it is for me, but I want it to be for other people too. I don't want it to be like a lonely endeavor. And the art is the outcome of that processing, but it doesn't have to be like a hermit in a mountain meditating to create this piece. It's like, I want to do a piece where I'm having fun at the same time. And people don't know it, but in the past, artists, they used to work together in studios and they were talking. They were not quietly, silently doing things. There was time for that, but there were many, many opportunities for people to talk and hang out. And I saw a writing recently talking about a performance. They said that artists that hang out with other artists are more creative because they have this synergy of exchange of ideas. While if an artist is by themselves, eventually it becomes kind of repetitive, or it becomes less progressive in a sense. It's like, oh, it's kind of doing the same thing because they don't have the feedback of other people around. They don't hear somebody saying, oh wow, I like that thing you did there, or this part here I don't like it. They don't get any feedback. So now it's you versus yourself at your level of consciousness and knowledge, trying to figure out this is good or bad. So I think if you want to become a really good artist, you need to hang out with all sorts of artists. I wouldn't say not even only one type of artist, like, oh, painters with painters. No, I think it should be everybody mixed together. And not even only artists, but creative people. Now, that's the problem. People think art, creativity, they go together. Yes, you need to be creative to be an artist, but not every artist is creative. And there's plenty of people that are super creative that are not artists. So I think the whole creativity is its own thing. That's what matters. And then you develop appreciation for the other forms of arts. If you hang out with a dancer and you start being curious and asking questions, they're going to tell you amazing things that you couldn't even imagine. And it's part of their lives. The same way that a sculptor is not going to know everything about painting, and a person that is using colors not necessarily know everything about value because they're not drawing it every day. So it's great to have those communities. And what I'm trying to understand and put together is if there's something like that out there. I know there are clubs and there are memberships and you can join groups, but it always feels to me like there is a disconnection. And it's in part is based on the user interface, the technology available. In part, it might be because the teachers are not available all the time and they're trying to put a content that is for everybody, so they cannot focus on each individual unless they're paying for coaching services. But one thing that aches me is the loneliness of being in an art studio. People think that's very glamorous, but it's not. And it's really detrimental for your mental health, I'm not gonna lie, because you start comparing yourself and you start criticizing yourself way too much, and you lose track of what you're doing is good and you only see this is so bad. You need somebody else to give you feedback and be like, well, if you fix this and you fix that, it's gonna look so much better. Or I don't know, I don't notice any problems because I don't know anything about anatomy. And then you realize that, oh, maybe I'm overthinking, which is usually the case for everybody. So what I want to come up is with my own community club. I want to create a space that is easily accessible. Everybody can show what they have, and just if you're gonna sit and work on art, hang out with other people and take breaks and make some space and time for working, and then take a nice break and talk about something else, because we have so many great ideas, but those ideas never get a chance to get out there, spoken into the world, to see if they are really that great. I know that a lot of friends, they have really creative projects that they haven't even started because they don't allocate the time for it. And I think having a group that incentivizes you to explore that and try it and creates the actual space for you to do it, it is super valuable, especially for artists, because we get so distracted. We always want to start a new thing and never finish what we have. And then we become dependent on the school system. That's why many people, they don't pursue empirically careers, because it's so dependent on their own management system. And only few people can really manage themselves that well. A lot of friends, they say, oh, I need my degree. I'm like, no, you need the structure, but you don't need to go to school to do film, because you're pretty capable of doing this. They're not going to teach you anything that you're going to learn by yourself watching YouTube videos or asking people in the field. But it's just that they don't schedule that structure for them to succeed. It's very hard, so they have to depend on an exterior factor to schedule it for them. And I am a very big consumer of self-help programs and any program that you do by yourself, and I get little amounts of success with those programs. Where do I get the best return on investment is when I join the community, I pay a membership, I have meetings, sessions live with the teachers, and I engage with the teachers, and suddenly it's like I'm focused. It's like, oh, this works. I can actually pay attention to this. So I thought, well, I want to hang out with my friends. I miss them. I'm always by myself. I have the opportunity to organize a type of club and gather everybody and create the schedules and set up some sort of technology. I don't have to pay for that. Probably everybody can pitch in some amount of money that is not crazy for artists. And then just create this environment. You know, it's like, let's create a powerhouse, something that sustains you and inspires you and improves your quality of life and inner satisfaction. And people might say, well, I'm pretty satisfied. Well, I mean, we're okay. We're like living okay lives. We're not super thriving in these lives, okay? Because if not, people wouldn't be overwhelmed. People wouldn't feel lonely. People wouldn't feel sad. And it's because we are hooked to the little square machine. And the square machine is only fitting us one reality, one tailored reality that is not the actual reality out there, and it's definitely not the reality we want to see. So I'm concerned with that. I've always been a person that has been by herself most of her life, and I do enjoy alone moments, but I felt that over time it was really detrimental for me. When I analyze the sources of energy, you have things that drain you from energy and things that feed on your energy. And interacting with people is my top source of energy. Definitely, I love dealing with human beings. Even with the nasty ones, I will get some sort of energy going on. And I was like, okay, I need more of that. And I don't mind organizing and structuring things and coming up with ideas to make people navigate and expand and grow and make friendships and have nice conversations. And I love hosting things like that. So I need to get feedback from friends and see if they agree with that, if there's something that they want to see happening. Because I would love to build it. And in the meanwhile, I'm going to have my live streaming sessions for Rolesville locals if they want to hang out and ask questions. If you have any interest in art, show up to the live stream. Right now it's taking place every weekday at 3 p.m. from 3 to 4. I can go even farther sometimes if I don't have other things to do. It depends on if people are hanging out with me. If I'm by myself, I cut it off at 4 p.m. But you can hang out with me, you can ask questions. Maybe you have a grandkid or a nephew or anything, or you want a portrait of somebody in your family or your pet, or a gift. Any of those things, I'm available, and we can talk about in which format do you want it. Do you want a painting, or do you want it like a wood burn piece with color, no color? I love doing these things for people because I put a lot of emotional stuff into it, especially pet portraits, because I had pets in the past. I know the feelings, and it's like, oh, if you lose a pet, oof, that stings. Yeah, you want to have a memory of that friend. So I'm open to those type of jobs, and I would love to handle them and do it for somebody. I wouldn't do it for me, but I would do it for somebody else that is important and meaningful to them. So you can reach out, or you can ask questions, or even if you want to learn something or have some advice on where should I go if I want to learn art. I have friends that they had asked me, I want to learn anatomy in general. Where should I start? And I give them advice, because as anything in life, it can get as deep as a rabbit hole, and then you don't know when to stop, or what is even the point of learning all these things if I'm not using them, right? And that's the most important thing with anything art related, is to learn it and use it. Find ways and projects and ideas to use what you learn, because if not, it doesn't go anywhere. It just doesn't get stored in your brain. It's like this fluffy stuff in the air that you never had to use, and then when you need it, you don't even know where to find it. You don't even know that it was one time there in front of you. So I can give you some advice I don't know everything that is going locally around me in terms of art, because I'm usually here at my studio or learning my own art online. There are plenty of resources online. The only thing I say about it is, you know, put it on your calendar and say every day I'm going to do 20 minutes of this class until it's done. Because if not, you will postpone it over time. And this is what I'm doing now is like every day I'm going to spend at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes in one class, and not going for perfect implementation. I just go for the basics of good enough. This is good enough. I want to move forward because I have bought so many courses on art, and now it's like you need to use this stuff. I have many educational things going on in my life, and I just go for the low-hanging fruit, like very basic implementation, make your life easy, because there are so many areas that I'm working at the same time. So I also have friends from RU, Relationship University, and we hold each other accountable, and we have been hanging out for, 2-3 years. Holding each other accountable for what we learned in Relationship University. And it is amazing because just having to talk about that stuff, it ingrains it more and more in your brain, and you're like, I know that I should do that. I know that I should do that. So if you're struggling with relationships, which I think the entire humanity is, get to the podcast. It's free. It's called Relationship Development. I think that's the name. But if not, look for Stacy and Paul Martino. Stacy Martino. She has a podcast with her husband, and it's an amazing place to learn a new paradigm to what relationships should be about. It is the best thing that I ever done, because the quality of your life is, as Tony Robbins says, is a direct correlation with the quality of your relationships. And I'm like, I know, Tony, I know. I need to work on that. And so there's so many things that I can share with people that I have experienced done. And right now I'm doing a spiritual mastery, and it's so incredible. It's exactly what I needed for this year. I'm doing so many things that are really good for me. I'm working on my health through food, spiritual food decisions or whatever. So I belong to the group, and I'm gonna be cleaning my diet even more after WAFID. I'm gonna do this one, which is called Thrivology, and it's amazing. It's gonna help me to finally get to the next level in my physical health. And I'm also doing the spiritual mastery, which is the one that I wanted to share in the first place. The spiritual mastery, we work first with Kundalini Awakening, and then this week we work with the Feng Shui. So imagine so many things that I need to work on, because my space, I designed my space, but still in terms of organization, there are some habits that I need to really make rooted in my life. And definitely need to declutter a lot of things and clear the energy flow around all my house and everywhere, right? So many things to do, and I just look at it as 20 minutes a day. I use ChatGPT all the time to help me with things. I did an AI mastery, and I barely scrape the basics. They taught really complex stuff, but that's something that you don't learn to do in 6 months. Like, is impossible. They did way crazy stuff, very advanced stuff that I'm like, not now, I cannot work on that. But I try to use the AI for very simple stuff, and that it makes my life easier, and it allows me to get to answers faster. And with AI, it's all about getting a good enough answer. Sometimes we get too stuck in the perfect answer, like I need to know the elements and all the relevant thing to make the best decision, and AI is just cutting that down for you so you can move faster and be like, okay, this is a good enough product, this is a good enough learning or service or whatever. And I'm not saying that asking people word of mouth ain't better, is way better, but if you don't have access to those people, or you're trying to use Google to search something and now it's so bad. I struggle so much with Google. I decided to go with DuckDuckGo, and they even have their own AI feature, but it looks a little more clean to me. I don't use it. I just say, dude, just find what I ask you, and it's decent. Like the DuckDuckGo is decent. So I'm using that browser because Gemini just threw me off so much, and Google just adding ads and adding crap in the way. It just feels like a blockage, like somebody's blockading my access to information, and I was like, I don't need to use Google, like you can use other browsers. I have looked at Bing before, it is okay, but I was not too excited. So I was like, DuckDuckGo, let's use that one. And so far, I'm very pleased with it. So, this is what I got. Supposedly it should be the thickness of the arm, and I nail it. And this is long, way longer than I need. So that's good too. It is perfect. I just do it with this, right? It is better to use a roller, but I don't have a roller, so I was just flattening it, tapping it like this to make it flat. I just put pressure and made it flat, and it looks pretty decent. So now I need to cut it, and clean it up a little bit and put it where it belongs. So I'm gonna be quiet, watch the video so I can copy exactly what the teacher wants me to copy. And in 7 minutes, I'm gonna be going to pick up, well, not 7 minutes, I have like 17 minutes before I can leave. Yeah, his sternum looks amazing because of the proportions, but in my case, my rib cage is kind of long. It's like a big rib cage. So I think eventually we'll have to fix it. The same with this, I will have to make this a little more smaller, definitely more skinny. Oh, his manubrium is so cool. And it's kind of big, but also his rib cage is way smaller than mine. Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to indent in between the ribs again, making it look like they're all kind of part of the same system.
Yeah.
See what I'm doing? And then just softening it up. Just knock one of these off the wire, so I'm going to put it back.
I'm very happy with my vertebrae. I feel like they're really cool the way I made them.
Didn't want to behave, but there it is.
Really good looking.
Really give me some issues.
No issues, Mr. Ray. No issues. Yeah, I'm happy. It looks really good. It looks really good, right? I just need to fix some things here. You know, eventually I have to put more definition to the ribs.
Now what we need to do is create support. I'll show this to you though.
So after I'm done here, I'm gonna have some live streaming from my I don't know if I'm gonna live stream yet. Only when I start working on my digital sculptures, I will start live streaming. Or maybe I will share my little imaginary creature, Stupor Exarborus. I think people would be interested in seeing what is the whole thing about. Okay. Mm. Mm.
You'll notice that there's a little hole over here. I need to patch that up. And look at all these little random pieces. Doesn't matter because it's just support. So just take any of these little random pieces and make them fit in there.
Mm.
It's going to stay underneath here. I think it will. I'm trying to make it a little smaller just to make sure I can manipulate it in here. I'm going to attach it somewhere anywhere here inside. I'm really forcing it. I need to. Forcing it onto
Oh boy.
pelvis like this. That's pretty darn good. Like that. And also, you'll notice that there's a little hole here. I need to patch that up. And look at all these little random pieces. Doesn't matter because it's just support. So just take any of these little random pieces and make them fit in there. So here's another little random one. But notice I'm also putting it on the inside part of the pelvis. Right up to the thorax. Or what they call the thoracic part area of the body. Great tasty together, just so I can blend them. So when it's baked, they'll be supportive. It really challenges your fingers to really be delicate when you're touching this. Make sure that there isn't like a big pot belly. We're going to try to keep it somewhat trim because this is just support for the muscles. It's not the muscles themselves. This isn't anything anatomical. It's support. See how nice that is though? And that's going to bake and it's going to be hard. And that's coming up in a couple of short sessions.
Okay. So this is for support. It doesn't have to be perfect, you know. So it just have to be there for the muscles to be connected. Mm. Oh boy. Oh boy. How to make this behave. Ooh. Oh gosh. Yeah. So first, let's try to do half here, and then focus on connecting this part here for support, as Mr. Ray said. Yeah, so my advice is to, if you're interested in art, come to one of the live streamings and ask questions, and I can give you a good amount of information. I'm always looking for new sources of training, teaching, and always buying courses. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I spend my time and money. It's just watching things that are educational for me, and I use those as my healthy diet for the mind, because it's so easy to fall into unhealthy junk food when it comes to the consumption of social media or even the news. They're so annoying and toxic, and people are so divided that it's like, oh gosh, like this is not healthy, this is super toxic. So I'd rather use my time doing something that is good for me, that is healthy for my mind. And it's just, whatever you put in your body, whatever you put in your mind is gonna define your day. So if you cannot handle it because you have news sensitivity or allergies like I do, I just don't consume them. I'm like, no, gluten-free, dairy-free, news-free, please. And with social media, there's so much stuff that's just pure manipulation. People wanting to make money out of your time and attention. It's not even funny anymore. And it's so toxic. The internet has become very difficult to navigate and then to find the good stuff. You find all the junk, but you don't find the good stuff. And the truth is more and more hidden and hidden and hidden. So for me, I personally, I just like to connect with actual people and talk to them and their problems, and let's get over that fantasy world that has been put out there on the internet for us to believe it is true, because that's just us. It's a fairyland. It's wonderland. Like, it's not true. It's all bullshit and lies. Let's talk to the actual people. Let's talk to the human that really cares and is not being confused or his mind being obscured by some bullshit narrative that is not even serving them. So if you want to hang out in a space that it is about forgetting all that stuff, that toxicity, all that grabbing attention, grifters, just be with another human being talking about real life. This is the space. I welcome everybody and anybody. And if you're into art, I would love to hear what are the things that interest you, what are the things that you're studying. There's so many good teachers and artists out there that art is more accessible than ever. It's just difficult to find what is good for you. It's really difficult to find what works for you, because there's so much information that is not even funny. And I can imagine as somebody that maybe has zero background in art, trying to start somewhere is probably scary. Even sometimes for me is like there's something that I know that I'm missing and I don't know where to find it. But after a lot of research with my friends and me, I have found out pretty good answers to most of those questions. And I know like, oh, here's your answer. This is what you need to do. And at the end of the day, it's not as difficult as it looks like. It's very simple. But because you have all this complexity around it, it looks like impossible to achieve. But it's not that hard. It's just like you have to divide it and focus on one thing at the time. Build the building blocks for that little thing for a while. Once you master it, then you move to the next thing. But you need to have like a map of what you want to do. A majority of people don't know what they want to do when it comes to art. I didn't know what I wanted to do when it came to art. I was like, yeah, I want to make these cool, amazing pictures, but how do you get there? And I studied a lot of things that weren't related to that main dream, because I thought you just learn everything under the sun and that's going to take you eventually where you want to go, and it's not like that. You get very frustrated. That's the truth. You get frustrated because you haven't found your answers in a long time. And people give up. I have plenty of friends, and I gave up for a while with art. And I was so disappointed with art because it was just this unsurmountable mountain that I have to climb, and I didn't even know where and how, or who's gonna be my teacher, who's gonna be my tour guide. I didn't have any of those. And then my friend and I, little by little, we started looking for opportunities at schools, and she found New Masters Academy, and I was like, oh, this is good. I am also part of other communities, art communities, because you always learn from different teachers, different approaches. A teacher makes more sense to you than other teacher, so that's the advantage. And these days, man, if you're willing to put the work, you can join any any Patreon page of any artist that you like, or let's say subject. I want to become an animator. Who is teaching animation online? Aaron Blaze, this other guy, plenty of people are teaching you all that stuff. If you don't even know where to start, go to Proco. If you're unsure of, do I want to go to academy level art? If you feel like that's too scary, go to Proco and start looking at things and feeling for it, and be like, oh, that looks interesting. Oh, I like the feeling of that, and just do it. Proco has a very fun way to engage education for this generation, the current generations. He has really cute, a really funny sense of humor. He has really cute animations, very easy to consume. They sometimes have live cohorts, and you pay, I think, almost the same for the course, but then you have the feedback of the teacher, so it's amazing. Always look for those with the teacher opportunities to learn. That's where you grow the best. And if you're gonna spend the money, it's better to do it when they have an actual teacher helping around and teaching students. That's kind of like the basics of that. And then there are platforms if you're interested in digital art, because it's more convenient, it's easier, doesn't require much investment or space. go for digital software. Like you can do digital art. You don't need fancy equipment, please. A lot of people complain about, oh, you have to have money for this and that. It's not that expensive. And even people can give it to you. People that have like old Wacoms and that they don't use or any other devices, they can give them away. You can ask for it and people are gonna be like, yeah, take it. I don't need it. I mean, they work fantastically. You don't need the latest fancy digital tablet to be able to make amazing art. All that's bullshit. You just need very basic equipment, a digital pen, any is gonna do, and then of course learn some settings. Get some pretty brushes that they're free. You don't need to pay for that. And there's also software that is free. Krita is an amazing software. There's another one. How it's called? Sketchbook, I think, for free too. It's very comfortable to use, and you can do amazing art with stuff like that. It's just, you know, the knowledge, the patience, the interest of playing with the tools. I don't like to use the word discipline because I have a bad vibe about discipline. It was always used as this mandatory thing that you don't want to do. And they use it at school all the time, like, oh, you have to develop discipline, self-discipline. And I just have so many negative emotions about discipline. Some people have really good emotions when it comes to discipline. I don't. So I like to stay away from telling people, oh, you need to be disciplined. You need to be disciplined. Well, that works for you, man, really, but it doesn't work for me. Just don't use that word. It triggers the hell out of me. You just need to really work on the desire of having fun. Just that. I want to have fun. I want to have fun. I want to play. I want to try things. And at the beginning, you're just doodling and not really getting anywhere. But just allocate the time to learn, to experiment. If somebody gave you the homework or the challenge of finding ways to do things with this equipment, find things that nobody has thought about before and give it a try and then teach us what you discover. If somebody gave you that, you would do it happily. You would be like, oh man, that's a cool thing. I want to prove that I'm a very curious person, that I'm very creative, and I'm going to come up with uses that nobody thought before. If you approach these softwares and your whole art as exploration and curiosity and challenging the common way of seeing things, or even new techniques or new ways of using brushes or whatever, the settings, creating a brush. I mean, some people do amazing stuff, right? So just challenge yourself to, what can I do that is different with this? And if you see it as play and not as I need to understand and do it correctly, which is, you know, what people suffer from when they're perfectionists, and I know about it. When you do that, you really kill the vibe, and then you just need to rely on willpower, because the demand, the pressure is so high that you won't really enjoy any anymore. And I'm sorry to disclose this, but art is about playing. Yeah, there's a study involved, but the moment you do art, you should focus on the play aspect of it. Right now, I'm just studying. Studying is one thing. But then when you want to create something from scratch, that's the moment where your training is going to be in your memory and your muscle system, and you won't have to think about it much. You won't have to really rely too much. But before that, you need to make so many mistakes and just do stuff and hit the plateau. There is an amazing book that I read thanks to Marshall Van Droff from an Aikido teacher talking about mastery. And there's a lot of wisdom in that little book. I highly recommend it to people. I have it in my personal reading nook as a reminder of the plateau. And the plateau is pretty much is where you are moving up, kind of like this way. And then you hit this flat line where you feel that you're not progressing, that you're stuck in the same level. And when you least expect it, and after a lot of frustration and disappointment and almost giving up, you have the next level, the next expansion of consciousness. And people love that stage of, oh, I'm in the next level, this is amazing, I love the view from this point of the mountain. But then you're eventually going to hit the plateau again. And he said that most people spend most of their time, every master spends most of their time in the plateau. And we need to get at peace with the plateau. And I am like, hell yeah. I mean, I feel like my entire life is a plateau. So that's the advice that I have for today. I hope that some stuff was useful. And if you feel like talking in real life, just show up every day at 3 p.m. I'm located in Rolesville, North Carolina. But it's okay if you want to put, custom order and talk about it. I can ship it to you. And you just have to cover, the shipping cost. And because I don't know if you're in Alaska or, on the other side of the world. And I can do some custom work for people. I love doing decoration pieces or, portraits. I used to do a good amount of portraits when I was in Cuba painting. I love doing portraits. I haven't done it in quite a while, so I would love to have that challenge again of, this is how this person looks. Let's see how we can make them feel real, capture their personality, their energy. Yep. So this person is kind of like me. It's like, we need to bring it back, man. We need to make you more skinny. Because right now it's kind of laxing in that section. And that's something that happened to me because I have babies. And I need to actively work on bringing back my abdominal muscles because they tend to be kind of pregnancy, and I'm working every day on that. So it's funny to see that this character has the same like feeling of just being hanging in there. So I need to bring it back a little bit, make it more. I think I can even use this one, to be honest. For putting the muscles, but I don't wanna. Yeah, I need to work on this because my teacher's guy looks very in shape, and this poor guy, he looks fat. I'm not gonna lie, he looks like pregnant. Looks pregnant. Horrible. Look at this. I wanted to go and pick up my kids, so I'm gonna turn it off for today. Nobody showed up because I didn't promote it, but I'm gonna keep it as a safe video because it's only me talking, rambling. And yeah, this is a art studio, a real art studio here in Rolesville, and you can come and digitally hang out with me anytime and ask questions or just work on your own stuff or share on your projects or just share ideas if you're an artist and you like the format. And I know that there are some art groups around, but their meetings collide with my Kung Fu classes, so I cannot join because they have them in a terrible time. I even had to give up my garden club, which I love hanging out with them, really. I loved the garden club. I was part of the Wake Forest Garden Club and the one in Raleigh, and they really have the best outings. Them and the, what is the other group that is all about wildlife and protecting natives? Those groups, they have really beautiful outings. Places that I never even imagined existed, they will take us there. So I miss that. I need to go back to it. But because of being busy trying to get my life together and sharing my art and finishing my classes and just growing and doing all the homework, I have so many classes going on, right? I haven't been able to join them. But I highly recommend it to other people if you have some time. Even if you don't go to the meetings, to be honest, as long as you help in some way, or you just pay money, right? Just donate money. Become a member of the club, and they have outings. Usually those outings are throughout the week, but maybe you can negotiate and just show up to one of those outings. They are so worth it. I cannot even reiterate that to you. It's like they're really worth your time to show up to those things. Really good stuff. And that's how I learned about Reynolda Museum, Reynolda State. And there is a beautiful painting there that I would have never seen if it wasn't because of the garden club. I didn't even know that place existed, and it had that painting. And so yes, it is so worth it to join those clubs and just go to the important outings. And a lesson that I learned is don't buy every plant. Really think about what you're gonna do, because a plant is a pet, it's a commitment, it takes maintenance. I did that. I love plants, but man, it's not the right time in my life to be taking care of so many beings, right? So many living beings. I have children, and that's the priority. And then me. So plants can be a little complicated if you don't remember to water them, or fertilize or change their dirt. Don't get the plants. Just get something different, something easier. Tamagotchi, I don't know. So let me see what is here.
Don't go away. We'll be baking soon enough.
I don't like. He's gonna be so fat. I don't like this.
Make this in your own
Should be skinny.
home oven. You don't need anything fancy. Standard size oven is fine.
Yeah, his looks like a normal dude. Mine is so.
The other thing I'm gonna have you do is this. See this area between here and here? We need to fill that. So just take a clump of clay, like this. It's almost like you're making a cone, and the cone is on the body, and the tip of the cone is at that shoulder. I'm trying to blend this together. Anyway, so here it is. It's almost going to replicate the pectoral muscle. Watch. This is also the way the pectoralis major is going to appear. You're just making a line from the chest to the shoulder. Doesn't have to be pretty, it's just support. All of this is support. So that later on when we put the muscle clay on here, if you're doing it like the way I'm doing it, you're going to be using the chocolate colored Sculpey.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be doing that shortly. Before you know it, you'll be putting muscles on here. The hardest thing about this crochet, I think, is the skeleton.
I agree. The skeleton has been a joy, but also challenging for sure. For sure. This is lovely. I like it. I like it. I mean, he's arch. He's definitely arch. I'm not gonna lie. I need to be less laxy, Mm-hmm. what do you do here?
Have to be pretty to
Oh.
support
Okay,
all of the
let's see this.
short questions.
Yeah, his stuff looks way better. Mine looks not good. Not good, man. Mine doesn't look really good. Oh, good lord. Looks so relaxing. My guy is gonna have the longest abdominal wall in the planet. So bad. What happened here? Shame on me. Shame on me. So much shame. I'm gonna have to fake it. Just fake a lot of this stuff. Oh, well, so long for having a perfect on the first trial. That happens to me. That happens to me frequently. My thoracic walls and abdomen tends to be like very long, kind of like what's the name of that time period after the Renaissance? Manierism. So there was a time period, I don't know if they still call it manierism, but there was a lot of distortion in the art. Collectively was showcasing a lot of bad things that were happening back then. So it was not as beautiful and perfect and idealized as Renaissance art. It was more chaotic and more messy, and the figures were kind of distorted. So I feel like I'm in that manierism phase with my crochet. I cannot get over the separation. Like, this looks too bad. I just feel like it's way too long. But, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. We have to make it work. Something new that you learn is don't make it that long, man. Don't make it that long. It's not gonna be good. Yeah. So, I'm gonna finish for now. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out. And you're welcome to ask any questions. I love talking to people. So let's connect. Bye.